can happen to your fiat as well. So always make sure you store your value from your hard-earned money. Or as we enter the new financial infrastructure, you will have to be running a lot, because otherwise you will be left out from this asymmetric gains in your portfolio. So what should you do? Either you try to learn more, stay educated, or you should store your value in different assets which can either appreciate in price or at least stay the same in that value, right? So you will store your value or try to increase your profits from your portfolio. So see where money is actually flowing. Look at what is happening around the world with relation to the assets, the classification and those stuff. So that clarifies you the direction of the real investors, the smart money. And then you need to understand, for that to happen, meaning your profits to increase, you need also the technical side of it, meaning how investors, traders, investors and all reacted to different price levels at different time, and what different indicators showed you those time at the back, right? So now when you go into this, the education becomes really important, because understanding the trend and pattern is important, along with the patience. Now, why does I say patience is really important? Because if you go and find out this one, the big money is not in the buying and selling, but in the waiting. So how will you do that? You need to understand the technical analysis. Even if the fundamentals are strong, you need a perfect entry, right? And to get that perfect entry, you need patience. You need to look at the market and understand. If Munger and Buffett used to do this and enjoyed a lot of profits, their experience teaches us that that is one of the best direction to take from here. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now, when we look at the trend, pattern, change, we do have to look at that in a shorter time frame, then in a longer time frame. So say for example, this is on a 4-hour chart, that's a shorter time frame pattern evolving, and this one is in a daily. So that's kind of a medium term which we are looking at. So if you can digest these well and understand the pattern and the trend in the actual direction of the impulsive trend on the long term, that's going to give you the money. But this thing is not only going to affect your life, personal life, but also going to affect your portfolio. Say at the bottom, the comment from Galgatron highlights the author obviously doesn't own any crypto. So if you're stuck with your screen, yeah, that I kind of agree with him. But if you're just looking at the price without being emotional, it's okay. But if you're looking at the price, being emotional, FOMO, buying in or at least selling out with 1 to 2% of profit when the price is fluctuating, that is not good for you. What you need to understand is the patterns. What you need to understand is the trend in the price, how market is moving, what the price is showing you, because that is the way you make profit. And to understand that, you need to educate yourself about the technical analysis, indicators, price action and every stuff. And for that, we help you here. Right now, if you go into the price of XRP, say on a 4-hour chart and use MACD, you can see that yes, we are going to cross to the downside. That's showing you negative momentum. The price is at the resistance and it's kind of slowing down, all those stuff. Now, go back and look at, say, what really happened previously in July here, then late July here. It shows you that the MACD was about to cross to the downside and it did cross. But the price fluctuation compared to that cross was not huge. Yes, the price slowed down. That means it respected the support and resistance line. So if you go in to an hourly chart to see what really is happening here, if you want to plot that, say, for example, a pattern here, which you can easily analyze in this trend, it would be something like this. It's actually crossing, right? So that's on an hourly chart, so you kind of get a little bit more clear picture when you enter into a 4-hour using the same thing, right? So this shows you we are still inside that pattern, and the 50-day moving average, the red line here, the 20-day moving average, sorry, the red line here is now acting as a support along with the trend line support. So if the price holds there, it should bounce back towards this resistance around 0.59, 0.6. Now, you look at the price and you see a bounce, whether it's a break through the support or resistance. That is your direction. You will be looking for the price to break out, and then the price to retest that. It goes up, come back a little bit down, then bounce. So that should be a perfect entry point there. That's on a shorter time frame, right? Now, if you use Bollinger Bands, you can see this, the price in a shorter time frame, say 4-hour chart, is still reaching the support area, and it can actually go back, reach that support level, test it again, and then move to the upside. All the times previously, if you look this, we went to the upside, we corrected back to the center line. Then from the central line, we came back, touched the bottom, and then we started the rally. So that still can happen here. Now we understood that this is the shorter time frame pattern. We created a lower low here and again repeated that till this point, and then we changed the trend with a higher high and a higher low. So if we continue the same pattern one more time, that's kind of giving you more of a validity that that trend is continuing. If you remember back in March, we stated this, okay, we are looking like we are making higher highs on a shorter time frame here, and then on zooming out on a longer time frame, we again got a higher low here by July. Then it was reaffirmed by October, right? Then the higher highs, and I told you if we get one more higher high, that's the bull market signal. And yes, that bull market signal came with a 200% rise in price. Now if you look at this base channel, here it's 62% and here it's around 80%. Now the price fluctuation after the break of this pattern reached 62%. That's the target of this channel. So after that, when you correct back and then reach this resistance, previous resistance turned into support, and create that as a strong support and bounce above that moving average, that is, so much bullish. If you go back on a real-time chart and then jump onto a daily time frame to look at where your moving average are, price broke above that and it is still above that 20-day moving average. We are still trending to the upside. So, that is kind of an important factor which you have to understand. Now, if you look at the bounce, we came back towards the 50-day moving average. So when we are in the bull market, when we respect these moving average zones, that's a symbol of buying moment. Buy the dip when you reach that zone. Right now, we're going to leave that zone to the upside. So you have to understand your risk tolerance and try to buy at the bottom when the price is reaching the bottom. And that's how you kind of understand this. Now we compared the 4-hour Bollinger Bands. Now we can look at the daily. And on the daily too, we came at the bottom of that Bollinger Band. We closed there. Now we are moving towards the upside. The upside would be near 0.69, 0.7 area, and almost all the time when you do that, you have to understand the upside is not resisted completely. We go above, we correct a little bit, consolidate there, and then again boom, it gives you a continuation pattern, and then again boom. So these kind of patterns, when you come back into this chart, it gives you that ability. Now when you use a Japanese candle like this, it may get a little bit confusing for you when you're using weekly, daily, or different time frames, but it would always be beneficial if you go and use a Heikin Ashi chart just to understand the momentum, which direction momentum is right now. And if it is on your side, that's it. You don't have to actually worry about many of the different things. If you come back onto a daily and see this, it's being clarified. Okay, we had that continued bullish momentum, then a little bit of correction. Now again, it's showing you that bulls. So at the initial stage, zoom in and look here. When you were having that bullish momentum there, you can even argue that, here we were slowing down really, right? If you didn't know what happened after that, you would be looking at this and saying, okay, we are slowing down compared to these two candles, right? Now come back here to the right moment and look at what really is happening there. You will say the same, as we don't know what's coming, right? No one knows what's next, but always we can try to look back in history and see what is happening. And if this is acting as a support, that means buyers are interested to buy this asset at this price. Next step, what we have to understand is, will we consolidate inside this trending range? More time? No one knows. But if we manage to retest this level one more time, 0.64, that should be an idea that buyers are interested in buying more and more, even when the price is around 0.6, not the bottom of 0.46. Based on the geographical region you're from, you would be experiencing different difficulties in this current economy. It's, being battered by the health crisis. Now, yeah, there are some lights being showed out in the name of vaccines. Now, I don't know what your take on that is. Mine is a little bit odd, so I don't want to share that. Anyway, then you look at these stuff where your value is being reduced by the governments itself, and the central banks by printing more and taking their own corrective measures, so your purchasing power goes down and they benefit the most. Inflation is kind of a tax which is not said that it is a tax, right? Many don't actually understand that. If you look back at the purchasing power 10 years ago, you will understand what I'm saying. Look back at the price of fuel or anything which you buy regularly and look at the difference in that price. And then look at your income during the same time and calculate the percentage of increase in both. Then compare it and say, did they tax you? If they did, do understand changes are coming. The change here by the Bahamas shows you that they are entering into that central bank digital currency era where that sand dollar, a new digital currency, is issued and backed by Bahamian central bank. China did this. Now Bahamas is doing that and others will follow. So as we enter into this new era, we can also see that guys are actually jumping out of gold to enter into Bitcoin. Now, being someone in crypto, that's damn bullish. Why do I say so? Because, when these lights of vaccines are being shown and there is a possibility that this can happen, you do have to understand when investors come in, they will always look at what this asset is about and how it's changing, what value it's providing to you and me and the other real investors. And they will look at next 5, 10, 20 years, like Warren Buffett does, right? They are the real investors. So when we wait for those investors, you need to be patient. They won't come in a day and push the price so high so that you can take profit and leave. They will always try to step in quietly, calmly, like dipping their toes. And in a bull market, it will usually be buying the dips. So when you're buying the dips, it's more or less like catching that falling knife. But when you're trying to catch that falling knife, say for example Ripple, XRP, that's something with utility. So you can have much more confidence even if you bleed a little bit. This tweet from Michael highlights, empowered by the partnership with Ripple, cost reductions and currency gains, MoneyGram has significantly improved both the top line and bottom line for the third quarter. That is not a small deal, considering that's a real business solving real issues for real customers. This is what we are looking at. If one company can partner with many and provide them with the edge of that technology and let them expand and succeed in a time where the economy is being battered, you bet where the money will flow when the regulations are here. Yes, we are being slowed down by the regulations. Regulators are not that fast yet, but the fintech changes which is happening right now is getting attention. So this type of massive flow of money in the Bitcoin, when investors comes in, they will do understand, okay, I gained 200% in BTC, but look at that asset. that did in that month. Say Bitcoin did this 200% in 6 months, and XRP did that in a month. So investors will look at the return on investment and the time, because time is money. You spend more time, that's more money. And that's why whenever you go back and look at the chart of XRP, you will understand there is a trend always evolving and it takes more time. So here you put in 6 days. Here you put in 13 days. Here you put in 63 days. Now look at the fluctuation which happened there. Here was 62%, then it increased around 70, and then after 63 days here, it went so high, right? It directly went around 220%. Now that's on a medium term chart. If you go back, look at XRP on a longer time frame, zoom out, use a weekly or monthly chart, and then look at the number of days it remained in that price range. Say this is the resistance, then we did that distribution after making this distribution pattern, the last pump, and then we corrected within this trend. We'll just count till the day before we started the bull run. So that's near to 1300 days. That's a moment of silence, guys. There's a lot of guys who entered the market and didn't have that much patience and left the market. But those who were patient, who are holding strong to their portfolio, are gaining right now. That's really a moment of silence for a lot of warriors who just jumped out of the ship. We were reaching near that beach, but they didn't want to enjoy what's prepared for us in there, right? But for you and me, you understand that this is important. There is a change happening in the market, and we don't want this to happen in an hour, right? So we'll always go into that price, look at what really is happening with us, then analyze. Okay, I can see that this is the trend. I can analyze that this is what's happening right now. So I would be doing this. Now, in order to get those clear time frames, actual patterns, say for example, where I buy, where I sell, and why I do that instantly without waiting for a day, 24 hours for the YouTube video, you can definitely look at the Patreon. The link for that is given in the description, and all of these charts are being shared there on a real-time basis. I'll use different kind of measures based on your portfolio. If you have different ideas, yes, I do put those out. So while watching, you do have to understand it's not only about me saying things, it's also about you and what actions you take after watching this. How you educate yourself to take that profits, and to take that profits, you need to be patient. While you wait, you really have to understand life is tough. Then you have to prepare to wait for that opportunity. And when that opportunity arrives like this, in a long-term perspective, you should not miss that. The first bar here was like 600%. And then a correction, waited for some time. This is a weekly chart, huh? And then you pumped like 67%. That was not a big deal considering this 600%, but followed by that, then you went 200%. Then again, the next month, like 100%. So cumulative from this bottom, within that small time frame, in that pattern, you went again like 600, 700%. Now that's history and the price fluctuation. That's how investors look at this asset. When the entire asset class is moving to the upside, now you do have to understand in a 24-hour time period, different assets have different fluctuations, and many of those were highlighted in the Patreon on the right time before we started this pump. So if you also like to enjoy that, you can look into that. Guys, if you received value for your time, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.